Good morning. Don't freak out. Short, simple, highly effective spiritual principle. It is a teaching tool. It will get you out of many a situation. Don't freak out. Now, I know that's a move away from concept. I could have talked about spiritual maturity. But I figured don't freak out was plainer and a little bit more clear. But really what we're doing in this teaching and in this center is maturing spiritually. We're taking the experiences of our lives, we're using them to grow, and we're creating lives that get better and better and better. And so in this idea of maturity, you've got to have the idea of immaturity. And sometimes, probably for all of us, we are spiritually immature. One way that you can know if you're being spiritually immature is if you are freaking out. Oh my God, can you imagine what this is? Did you hear that? Oh, it all is lost, lost, lost. That's a freak out. And it doesn't help. Because remember, one of the basic tenets of the science of mind is that what you focus upon and dwell upon, you're going to get in life. And so if you are choosing to freak out, to have all of the emotional reaction that so many people in the world have, if you're choosing to have that, you're just bringing in more and more and more of those circumstances and those experiences because you are an amazing being. You are a powerful, creative, spiritual being alive and well on planet Earth no matter what you're creating. And life doesn't say, now Barbara, this is a really high ideal. This is very peaceful, very inspirational, very healthy, very prospering. And this is not such a good idea. This one's going to make you sick. You're going to lose a lot of money and a lot of friends. Life doesn't do that. Life just says, whatever you want, baby. You focus on it, and I'm going to bring it to you with bells on. I'm going to bring it to you in the most unique ways, ways that you may not have even knew were possible to create this experience in your life. So we are the ones that have to pay attention. We are the ones that have to notice when we are not in Rafi's meditative bliss, but in the stage of freak out. And it's not just not to do it, because I want you to know that there are reasons that we freak out. And I don't mean that they're the reasons that we think they are. It's not what politicians are doing, what the economy is doing, what our neighbor is doing. We think those are the reasons. Those are not the reasons. Those are the excuses that we have to freak out. The reasons that we have to freak out is that this is a genetically programmed response to fear, to stress, to trauma. It doesn't come from our mature frontal cortex. It comes from way back in the base of the brain called the limbic or animal brain. It comes from the limbic system. And what that does is as soon as we trigger off that freak out, we turn into our own drug pharmacy. And we shoot out drugs into our system. We shoot out adrenaline. We shoot out cortisone and stress hormones, and some of us, let's be honest, we get a little high from that. We break out in a sweat, our heart starts to pound, we have very strong opinions in that moment. We're getting a buzz off of our own chemistry system in our bodies. And so it's important to notice when we do that. Because I guarantee you that you're going to pay a very high price for the indulgence of the freak out. Not only are you going to pay a high price in your body, in your relationships, and in your finances, but you're going to pay a high price in creating that over and over and over in your world. It's like you're going fishing and just reeling in the trauma, going fishing and reeling in the drama and pulling it in. And the thing that pulls it in is our freak out. So, if you notice, the very wise monkey is not freaking out, he is meditating. Now, I don't think you're going to go from all of this upset and drama and carrying on to meditation just like that. One thing that you might want to try, though, is simply to take a breath. Because taking a breath stops that sequence of events that's happening inside of us on a chemical level. Taking a breath stops us from manufacturing so much adrenaline and for having it bounce us. It's kind of like speed, bounces us all off the walls and the ceiling. Taking a breath helps us calm down our blood pressure, slow down our heart rate. Taking a breath lets us think about what we're doing. One of the things about the limbic system and the fight or flight mechanism, which is what this is that part of it is that your heart is pumping because all of the blood is going out to your limbs so that you can either fight or flight, run, run, run. All of your blood, and where does it come from? It comes from your head. The brain flushes blood to go to the arms and the legs so that we can run or we can fight. Breathing stops that process. Freaking out is such a low-level spiritual journey. Blaming people, criticizing, finding fault, getting ourselves to feel good that we're the right ones because that other person or people are the wrong ones. All of that takes its toll on us, not only spiritually, but physically and in the world of our affairs. Because remember, we are creating our experiences. We are the amazing, powerful presence of the divine in form as us. And every time we think about something, every time we believe something is true about life, we just bring it right into form. We are so powerful that the words that we speak and the thoughts that we think will manifest in form as our life right now. I had an experience with that this week. I amazed myself. A couple of months ago, I was bitten by a dog. I knew the dog, cut the dog some slack. There were ambulances and fire trucks, and one of the dog's family members was on the floor, and I came over and tried to put the dog in the garage. This was an old, cranky dog to begin with, and she did not like the fact that I was coming in amongst all of that trauma and excitement, and she turned around and just ripped my hand up. So my hand was very painful, very, very painful. And as it happened, I happened to have a doctor's appointment the very next day. So I thought, good, maybe the doctor can help me with my hand. Instead, the doctor took my blood pressure. Not surprisingly, my blood pressure was pretty high because my hand was throbbing. And so the doctor starts to freak out and saying, oh my God, your blood pressure is so high, maybe the cuff is wrong, let's get a different cuff. Oh my God, let's get a different person in here. And through all of that, the nurse came and said, come walk down this aisle, we're going to do your vision test. And so it's like, whatever it was, and turn around and look at me and says, you've got 20/70 vision. I said, no, I don't. I had LASIK surgery 20 years ago. I had eagle vision 20 years ago. Does that stuff wear off? Oh my gosh, what's going on? Let's go take your blood pressure again. By the time I left there, I was being sent to the emergency room because they thought I was stroking out right there on the spot. So John comes and picks me up and drives me to the emergency room. And the people in the emergency room said, what happened to your hand? I said, a dog bit me yesterday afternoon. They said, oh, that's what's going on. Your blood pressure is high because the dog bit you. Why don't you just sit here? We're not going to worry about it. We'll take a bunch of blood and run every test under the world, but just sit here and we'll see if it doesn't just come down on its own. So we're hanging out there. Chuck came to visit us, and we're in the hallway in the emergency room, and every time they come around to check my blood pressure, it's going down and going down and going down till they just sent me home and said, you got bit by a dog. You're okay. You're going to heal. Things will be all right. So 2 months later, I'm chewing on this thing of 20/70 vision. My sister was the one who was so kind to say, "You'll never pass your driver's license with that." So I made an appointment with our wonderful member, Michelle Reams, who is a doctor of optometry and has Triangle Vision place on Merriman, and went over there and was seen by Amanda's sister, works there, who gave me chocolate. How great is that? So I'm in with my peeps. I've got chocolate. I'm completely relaxed. My hand is healed. And they gave me a vision test, and I have 20/20 vision. Yeah. And what this reminded me of is that when we freak out, our blood pressure goes up, our vision changes. Now think about this, not only physically, but metaphysically. What we see changes. How we see changes. When we allow ourselves to get all upset about something, then the way we see the world changes. And when we can pull ourselves back in and say, just wait a minute, let me take a breath, let me take a minute, and let me rethink this, then we can change our physical self, we can change the way we see, we can change our world. And so everybody's going to do it. Everybody's going to have something push their button. Everybody's going to experience life in a way of that didn't happen the exact way that I thought it was going to happen. And we're like a little kid. We do a temper tantrum, and we have a hissy fit. The important thing is as quickly as possible to turn that around. As quickly as possible to bring ourselves back and allow the natural state of prosperity, of love, of joy, of health and wholeness to return into our world, which will return into our physical body, it will return into our bank accounts, it will return into our relationships. You can't have a good relationship if you're always freaking out. It's exhausting. You can't have a lot of money if you're always going crazy about things. Well, they did that, and that's wrong, and this is not happening right. If we don't get a hold of our emotions, then we're going to be at effect of the life that we have created instead of the cause of the life that we have created. We created that life no matter what, but we can either bounce off of it or we can create anew. The thing that I love about this teaching is that it teaches us how to create a life. Not get a life. We've all got a life. Let's create a life. Create a life of love and joy and health and wholeness. But it all comes from inside of us. And the faster that we can be spiritually mature, the faster that we can have what it is we want. And so if we know that life is for us, that nothing can be against us because there is only us, spirit as us, right here and right now. If we know that life is for us, then we can look at any circumstance, no matter what, and claim the good in it. It may not be the way we thought it was going to be. It may be a complete surprise. Some of us have had surprises in our lives. Some of us have had things not work out, and when we look back on it, we go, I'm so glad that didn't work out. I've got 30 years with John Waterhouse, and I'm so glad that Richard Fogelman didn't work out, and Tony Bonacorso didn't work out, and Al Story didn't work out. I'm so glad, although at the time I wasn't quite sure, I get that because I stayed the course. I said, well, I'm going to have the best relationship with me that I can. I'm going to be able to love me and appreciate me and build me up. I'm going to look for the good in me and find it. And then when I did that long enough, and some people would say I'm a slow learner, but when I do that long enough, I get to have the prize. And you're my prize. Yes. It's actually 31 years, but we did live in sin for a year. We've got to put on our mature eyes. We've got to look at everything as the evolution of consciousness. Wallace Wattles says the world is perfect, though not complete. I like to look at our politics and say they're perfect, but not complete. I do believe that a democratic system is one that is going to be the forerunner of freedom on planet Earth, but we're not complete. I look at things going on in my life, they're perfect, but they're not done yet. So I can continue to work with them. I can continue to work with this stream bank that we're working on. We did 2 video shoots this week. Thank you, Devon. I'm a movie star. And Devon and Rodney and RJ all climbed down into that creek to get close-up footage of the erosion, to get the sound of the running water, to really get a sense of it. And I believe that Bliss helped them out upon occasion. I'm not going to give up on something just because it hasn't happened yet. We're in a time-space continuum. Although it is the eternal now, I'm grateful that everything doesn't manifest right now. Because if everything manifested right now, then every stray thought that I had would be in my face. I'm grateful that I get a chance for a second thought. Because sometimes the first thought is not the best thought. So we always get a second chance. We always get the second thought. And we're able to bring ourselves more into alignment with who we truly are. An amazing being of light and love, set loose on planet Earth. We get into alignment with who we truly are. We are the magnificence and the abundance, the love and the joy of God itself as us. We are created to live a divine life. We are created to live the best life ever. You know, I don't know what's in the other dimensions. I don't know where Angie is. I don't know if there's sound or light or touch or taste, but I know that that's here. So I'm going to avail myself of sound and light and touch and taste, particularly taste. I'm going to avail myself of that and to continue to focus on the presence of God right here and right now. God is in this place because we are here. That means every place that we are, God is. Every place that we stand upon holy ground. Every word that we speak is the word of God. All of the power of creation is at the point of us right now. And as we open up to that, and instead of fighting what is that didn't fit our idea of what should be, we open up to the higher realm of what is. That God is right in the midst of this. And if it's not, if I don't see the outcome, it's because it's not over yet. It's still in progress. We are half-baked cakes at times. And if every time I opened up the oven and saw the cake was half-baked, if I did a freak out, then I would probably be dead by the time the cake came into full fruition. And we do it all to ourselves. So I am so clear that I can make my vision go to 2070 if I'm upset, which I believe is called blind as a bat, to 2020 when I remember who I am. I can make my blood pressure go up to 265 over 160 something and have people think I'm about to keel over, and I can bring it right back down again. I am in control of my life. I am in charge of my experience, and you are in charge of yours. It starts off with, what are we going to think about? How are we going to see the world? And what is our response to it? If we want to be emotionally immature, spiritually immature, we certainly can. We can go around and just look for what's wrong. There's plenty of it to be found if you're looking for it. We can blame other people for our problems. We can criticize all that is, and we can feel justified and right. But it's such a huge price that we pay. Or we can grow up spiritually, be flexible, let go of what we thought was going to happen, and bless what is. Find the good in it and watch that good show up. I don't care what it looks like. I don't care what you thought was going to happen. There is always good in everything because there is always God in everything because God is all that there is. And we are creating every experience of our lives. So if it's something different, there's something in there for us because we put it in there. I always think that we're like stones in one of those gem tumblers and they put sand in there. And it just knocks off the edges a little bit. It just shines us up a little bit. It polishes us. I didn't need that sharp point. I didn't need to be so rough around the edges. I'm getting polished with all of this. I'm finding God in the most amazing places, places that some people think it's impossible. We can do this. We can put on our spiritual eyes. We can feel spiritual feelings. We can live in the love and the joy that is life now because we are not freaking out. And so it is. Hi, I'm Barbara Waterhouse.
And I'm John Waterhouse. Thank you for watching this message today.
Through our website, cslasheville.org, we have over 1,000 messages, classes, and New Thought books, all to download at no charge to anyone.
Producing this incredibly valuable collection of ideas is really making a difference in the world. It's changing lives everywhere.
Please go to our website, cslasheville.org, and click the Donate button. You can support this life-changing ministry, and when you do, we'll send you a note of thanks and also put you on our daily prayers.
By doing this, you're helping to raise the consciousness of people across the entire globe. We're changing lives together, those lives that are being more prosperous, more healthy, and more joyous. Thank you for being a part of this important work and supporting what we do here at CSL Asheville.
Thank you.